Hi guys, welcome back to Rts Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host Linda Fry, the Asthma Lady. Yes, all right, guys. So we have an exciting episode today. We have another guest co-host, and he is amazing. So yes, I'm happy to get back on track with my guest co-host on RT Share Tea. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Ryan. I met him on the social media space on LinkedIn, and when I read his profile, just seeing what he does as a respiratory therapist in New York City, a fellow New Yorker, I just saw he created like he was on a commercial for his hospital describing how he does his thing as a respiratory therapist, and I felt through that commercial that ad like his aura, like that he's just genuinely happy with what he does and he takes control of his career. So that is the vibe for this episode, and speaking with Ryan. But before we let him do his thing, I'm going to read his bio, and it's real short, which is what I like. So Ryan Roberts, sorry, born and raised in New York, Caribbean descent. Hello, is a D3 CUNY swimmer champion. Associates. He has an associate's in respiratory therapy from Malloy College, and now a bachelor's in allied health leadership. And so he is a fan of most music and New York City handball. All right. Love to party and have a good time. Yes, I do too. And he also does a lot of volunteering. He's done volunteering as far as uh, catering to his community by serving food and whatnot to the needy. And I really love that. So I'm gonna let Ryan do his thing. And so Ryan, we all have our story about what led us to be a respiratory therapist. So tell me, what is yours?
Um, I'm pretty much a straight shooter, so really and truly, I was originally going the nursing route. Um,
Okay.
and circumstances at the time, i.e., not in the right mental space, it didn't end up working out for me. And through a little bit of help from my mother, who was already a nurse, she kind of gave me a little bit of guiding light and said, "Why don't you try respiratory therapy?" And I was like, "Okay,
Mm.
what do they do?" It was something I didn't know about. And I then went to the department at Malloy College, um, and I figured out what it was that we did. And once I found out that we would be all over the place, the ICUs, non-ICU settings, and interacting with everybody in most situations, I thought that that would be really interesting. And then I started learning about oxygen therapy and ventilators, and I was like, you know what? I like this. I like this, and
Mm.
I just went for it. And I had a great group of classmates with me, and yeah, Malloy class of 2018, we went and we did our thing, and now I'm almost 5 years into the field and still loving it.
Nice, nice. Love it. And I love the fact that your family, your mom encouraged you to go this route, even though she's a nurse. Very similar to my story. I have a family full of nurses, and I knew that was not the route that I was gonna go. I started as a pharmacy major, so very similar. Pharmacy, and kind of stumbled upon respiratory as I was failing math miserably and when it came to the pharmacy program. So yes, I love that. Once again, how you, based on what you got from the advice that you got from your mom, you were curious, you checked it out, and then you did good with your classmates at Malloy College. So that's great. And just keeping up the tone of that and just taking control of your career. I love seeing your history around volunteerism. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you feel this has helped you around your career?
Definitely. In regards to the volunteer work, initially, most of the volunteer work had started with my first job at Applebee's, actually. So I was a host, and I went through like a myriad of positions. So in one aspect, I did get a lot of like, customer service skills and so on and so forth. But
Right,
really, when it came to the volunteering, it was about interacting with people, in the community and just going out there. And, some of it was like a feeding thing. I do like to feed people. Food is love, right? Food is life,
right,
food is love. But then also, it was just fun. It was just fun to go out there. Um, the Applebee's that I had worked for at the time had worked with like a local police officer, and he had an organization called Embrace Your Kids. So it
mm-hmm.
was great volunteering and doing like cookouts, very simple stuff, hot dogs, hamburgers, sometimes bringing the actual Applebee's food and whatnot. And just all in all, just a rewarding experience, to see how it is that you can kind of help affect people around you just
Right.
by simple service.
Yes, yes. I love that because the acts of service is what led me also in my career too. And oftentimes people will say like, "Oh, they don't have time to volunteer." And I do understand, as especially as respiratory therapists, we do have intense schedules. And then when we have free time, that's like, family time. There's a lot of things that take our that we have to do in our free
Right.
time. But I do try to encourage other people to sprinkle in that volunteer time, um, to find your passion or wherever your heart's desire. And it does help with the career, even if it's not related to what you're actually doing. It does help build things like networking. You never know what your next job is going to be, confidence
100%.
building, um, self I said confidence building already, networking, and just you said it, customer service skills. Yes, you could get that from somewhere else, and it really just helps you, I feel, as a respiratory therapist. So I tell people, make time for these things. And uh, as far as me, I wouldn't be where I am today as an asthma educator if I didn't volunteer. I started as a volunteer educator, as a respiratory therapist, and I had two night shift jobs. And because I wanted to do it, I fitted in, and it really made a difference in my career.
Right.
And
That's
so
awesome.
love to hear what it has done for you, and that it brings you joy. And yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
talking
and
about.
it's been fantastic. After Applebee's and moving on, I was a nursing assistant. Um, I
Okay.
will currently work for Northwell Health, and I was doing both. I was going to school, and then I ended up doing a volunteer situation where I assisted with food service for somebody who is somewhat of a partially a mentor, and also like a well-known respiratory therapist who has his own organization, Al Quinones.
Al,
So I did
yes, I
a
know
little
Al
bit of
very well.
volunteer. Hey, he's great, great
Yeah,
guy,
great guy. Mm-hmm.
and did a little bit of volunteer work with him, and just helping like with food service for his one of his events at Westchester
Hmm.
Community College. So that was fantastic. That was almost like a networking event in its own way. You get to
Right.
meet a lot of people. So me and actually some people who actually became future coworkers were helping him out, and yeah, it was just a great experience. You never know who you're going to meet, you never know who you're going to see, and you never know what you're going to learn. It's really uh, it's almost like a free ticket. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a free ticket
Yes.
to an experience, and you never know what benefits you're gonna reap from it.
Yes, I totally agree. And respiratory is small too, and you really just don't know who you're going to be rubbing elbows with, in that space. Like when it comes to volunteering, just making yourself available. Once again, it's just about networking, meeting people, and especially when you're about acts of service, if that's like how you, I call it's one of the love languages, like just how you express that you care. Mm-hmm.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, so I mean, what advice, and this could be broad or it could be pertaining towards the volunteerism or what we've been talking about. What advice would you give to anyone? I guess like we could talk about in the beginning of their career. You're 5 year, well, you're not in the beginning, you 5 years in already. So you seasoned. You got a
A
little
little something.
pepper, little peppery in there, got a little season, a little gray. Um, so it could be for a newer person or someone at the same age. What advice would you give to someone that's trying to take control of their career or just trying to figure things out in this space as a respiratory therapist?
Um, I think the first thing has to be passion. You have to have passion for what it is that you do, and the reason being is because you work so hard to get it. You know, even though people don't always know about us or don't always know what it is that we do,
Mm-hmm.
um, us actually having earned the degree and earned the license, understand what it took. So that's the first thing that you need is just a little bit of passion because that's going to take you extremely far in your career. Just passion for learning, passion for helping people, um, just even just like a passion for life. Um, and when I say that, that ties into the next thing, like work life balance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very important thing. It's something that, at different points in time, sometimes we all struggle with because, especially in New York, we get caught up in a grind, so to speak.
Oh my gosh.
Um, I tell
Okay.
people all the time, like, to live in New York, you got to be a hustler. Like, you got to
You
be
you have
on the money.
to. You can't. It's not even a game. It's like I don't have time for the nonsense. It's like
No,
New York. You know
as
how it
uh, as as some island people would say, money half a mech. Anyways,
is.
you know, uh, I think that's the first thing to start with. I think once again the volunteering, networking, and you just never know what it is that it's going to bring towards you. And sometimes you'll be surprised who you meet because they volunteered and they're giving their time and their service to you or somebody else or whatever. It's really fantastic. I was really lucky that one of my leaders, Stanley John, was able to
Mm,
help me with an opportunity or allow me the opportunity to go on somewhat of a mission trip down to Barbados during COVID and to help them. And
nice.
it was really eye opening because it really made you thankful for the resources it was that that you have, um, or I should say that I have or that we have, in a country that has somewhat more, more developed healthcare and a
Right.
more access and everything like that. It was like night and day, night and day in terms of the resources and what was going on. So
Right. Amazing.
definitely a worthwhile life experience and work experience, mostly life experience. Hmm.
I love that. And I love how you you're basically you make yourself accessible and just
Try.
available to those type of opportunities. And I know everyone, we all have like family obligations and whatnot, but I can feel that about you, that you just make yourself accessible and you say yes, and when you say yes, you just go for it. And
I
that's,
try.
yeah, that's a good thing. And I think because so as much as I speak about, so RT Share Tea podcast, why I love these type of platforms is because we get to share our perspectives as respiratory therapists as what we do. But it just looks different for all of us because of our past histories and what we are
Yes.
exposed to, the different states, the different family obligations. So it's just amazing to share these perspectives and hear and just be able to relate. Like, okay, but we know we have the differences, but we're still able to relate and we can still guide someone and be like, hey, listen, you could take control of your career by just making yourself accessible
Hmm.
and taking opportunities and chances and not being scared to do something different.
Definitely.
Mhm.
definitely. And I would say that my last piece of the pie is education. Um, I encourage anybody who's a respiratory therapist out there who doesn't have a bachelor's degree to get one, because the reality of the situation as healthcare evolves, we do want to maintain our standard of education in the field. You want to maintain standards of practice. And if one day bedside care is no longer what it is that you're interested in, I think a lot of people have a tendency to think that the only route is management. That's not the case, and you're a
Right.
prime example yourself.
Right.
Anybody can move forward into any kind of leadership, healthcare administration. You can get an
Yes.
MBA. You can run your own business. You can become a public speaker, like the respiratory therapist Joel Brown. He
You
owns his
understand?
own company.
Joel is cool. Look what he's doing. I knew George, forget his last name. He's a respiratory therapist in New York. He is the CEO of the hospital at Harlem,
Hmm.
Harlem Hospital. He's a respiratory therapist. Like so, it's not like you're just stuck. When I feel bad when therapists think they're stuck at in acute care or bedside patient care, and they just feel like they have to get out, and it's not true. You
Yeah,
know.
there's potential. There's potential for all of us. And if people feel like at some point or another they would like to leave the bedside, it's still, we have to try to educate ourselves. There's always something to learn from somebody else, and it
Mm-hmm.
will keep opening doors for us. And knock on wood, as things continue to progress, we'll move into the practice of advanced care practice, into the realm of advanced care practitioners, APRT.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's exciting. To even see that there are folks in that space and can write a prescription. Like, come on, I'm waiting for us to do telehealth where we can bill on our own for the services. It makes so much sense. Like we're the asthma educators, we're the COPD educator. Like it just makes sense. We should be able to bill for that on our own. So
Yep.
I'm hoping that's where we headed. I'm watching the AARC and all these organizations and hoping
And
that.
the reality is that all of that is going to make extreme, or excuse me, allow us extreme potential to actually help our communities.
Oh yes.
Because a lot of times, these are things that people don't understand, or I don't want to say go undiagnosed, but people don't necessarily understand what it is that they're supposed to do to maintain their health,
Oh my God.
or what it means, prophylactically to prevent them from having flare-ups or issues. And you literally know exactly what I'm talking about. Instances where maybe we could have prevented a hospital admission. So this could be, a great, great chance for RTs to help make an impact in the health of the communities around them.
Mm-hmm. Amen, Ryan. Preach. I'm excited. I know you are. I have a few more years in this career, so I'm 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 watching. I've just got
So,
my
trailblazers.
ear to the ground. I'm listening for what's going on because when opportunity comes, Linda will be available. Okay.
There you go.
Well, and Ryan too.
I
I
will
feel
try my
you,
best.
Ryan. Ryan, so at the end, I always let people plug anything they got new going on. So, let us know. Do you have anything new? How you want folks to reach you? How can we find you? What you got going on?
Um, let's see. To be honest, I don't have anything special going on. I'm just trying to be
You
the
just
best
happy.
therapist that I can be at work right now. I'm
You
just
just happy.
focusing on. I'm
I
sorry.
love I love your ad for the hospital. That was cool. You did
That
very
was.
well.
Thank you.
You
I
did
appreciate
very,
it.
very well. Keep signing up for stuff like that. You're good at it. I can
I'll
tell.
I'll try my best. I'm just trying. I'm telling myself that I'm just gonna try to do the best that I can,
Uh,
one shift at a time, and also try to uplift my coworkers around me, because
mhm.
I would like, I don't feel as though it makes sense to gain things and not be able to uplift those around me.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
yes. When
So
I
we're
move,
working on
you
our own.
move. I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Ryan, Thank you so much for being my guest co-host today on Rts Share Tea. This has been amazing. I love, like I said, your aura and your spirit. I appreciate you. And maybe we could start some kind of like accountability, something where we can like chime in on one another and we could keep uplifting one another since we in the New York space. So we'll sprinkle something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Sprinkle some glitter on some folks. Ryan. And so, yes, guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. Please remember, I'm going to be, I have a few things coming up in August. We're going to be in with Black Health Matters in Harlem. So that's going to be August 17. We're going to be providing asthma education with the Allergy and Asthma Network. Yes. So you see, you're just talking about the community stuff. So I'm gonna be over there. So yeah, swing through, Ryan, if you're not doing anything. We're gonna be in Harlem. Once again, that is August 17th. So anybody that's gonna be out there, come swing through, come see the asthma lady on August 17th. I will put everything in the description below. If you want to hit up Ryan, I'll put his contact info if you for anything career related. So, and remember guys, we are here every Wednesday on most podcast platforms and on YouTube every Thursday 6 p.m. Eastern time. And remember that we are growing together. So much more to come. Thank you. See you next week. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you.